So I used to stream every day. Now it's about like 5 times a week. But I pretty much make content almost every day. Maybe one day a week I try to take off. It's a little bit harder just to mentally shut off, but I try. So we have short form content. We'll start at the basics. We have short form content that goes up on YouTube Shorts and TikTok. A mistake a lot of people do is they think that they're just gonna have these highlight moments from their stream that they post and it goes viral. And sometimes something will happen on your stream that is worth posting and sharing, and it will get a lot of views and attention. But at that point, you're leaving it up to chance. You have to intentionally go out of your way to do crazy things. But I make a lot of intentional short form content. Like I'm covering a piece of content that Fortnite added. I'm covering interesting information about the game or whatever. So it's like you said, it's very intentional. It's very structured, and like almost every short we upload on YouTube like pops off. So we upload like 7 shorts a week, every day 1 short, because we can manage it, and it's easy to. It's not easy to edit, but it's faster to edit a smaller piece of content. TikTok as well, daily posts, sometimes a couple times. It's usually the shorts or moments from the stream, whatever.
It's a mix of both.
Yeah, and there is some like differences between the people who watch YouTube Shorts and TikTok. There's some crossover, but there's also some differences. So we are a little bit intentional with that, and some things will only go on TikTok, and some things will only go on YouTube Shorts. Okay. It's too complicated to break down, but there are differences if people are wondering.
But I just want to highlight real quick though, something like a lot of viewers may not even think you think of these things, right? So that's something that I think is so interesting, right? You're very intentional with everything.
Yeah.
You don't just throw stuff at the wall. Like, I mean, you do. We have to test things out, but like people won't even realize that, like that you even think that way. That's how you like for someone to reach the success that Sypher is at. And with the consistency you're at, you have to know these little things. Yeah. You have to know your audience, what works, what doesn't work. And like you said, every platform is different. You can make some sort of content on TikTok that can be completely different from YouTube. So that's short form. Yeah. Obviously, then you have streaming and long form.
Yeah, so streaming 5 times a week, usually 5 to 8 hours per stream. It used to be a lot longer. Early days of Fortnite, like I said, 12 to 14 hours almost every day. And then past that, it was still like 8 hours every day. I found there's a few things, right? Streaming really takes a toll. Like that's the hardest thing because you're constantly on, and you're constantly live, you're constantly interacting. Whereas YouTube content, you can lock in, create a video in an hour or 2 or whatever, and then that piece of content lives on forever. So streaming was like the most difficult part of this whole process compared to creating content or doing sponsorships or whatever. So I slowly started to like shrink that down to give room for the other sides of the business to grow and flourish. And I kind of had to. Mm-hmm. But it's also the most fulfilling part because you do interact with a live audience and you build that connection with your audience. And it's very raw. It's very authentic. So there's a part of it that I will always love. And I think it's still my favorite part. My favorite part of everything from content creation is streaming because it's just like you can't fake it, right?
Yeah.
It's all real. Then past streaming, there is the long form content. So for a while in the early days of Fortnite, I would just upload, like after I made it, right? The early Fortnite long form videos was like how to win. Mm-hmm. Everybody wanted to win. They wanted to get the victory royale. They wanted to get the Fortnite umbrella for winning that season. So I would always do like how to win in that season. And that's what really blew up my YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. After that, I had the audience and I could just upload great gameplay, great squads with the boys, Tim, Courage, Ninja, all those guys. But eventually, the audience got tired of that. And some people adapted and some people didn't. Mm-hmm. And we had to adapt because we saw the viewership just trickling down. Like you can't just upload squads with the boys and call it a day anymore. Yeah. You used to be able to and still get a lot of views, but now you can't.
Like Ninja got 20 million subscribers doing that.
Yeah. He just uploaded just great gameplay content and everybody was just ready to watch just pure gameplay. Yeah. That's just how big Fortnite was and how everyone was not used to watching a great player play. Mm. So you can just upload your gameplay. Mm. Eventually, there was a lot of great players to watch and you had to create captivating content. Mm. And some people did, some people didn't. Some people intentionally just were like, oh, I'm checked out. It's whatever. But me and my team, we really started focusing and experimenting. And the most amount of experimenting and locked in we was during Chapter 2 when everybody left. Some people went to Valorant. Some people went to Warzone. And there was not a lot of updates or great content in the early season of Chapter 2. It was like some of the longest seasons ever because of delays and COVID and all that stuff. So there were like 120 plus days of like very little content. So we had to get creative and start making content that we felt like people really liked. and we experimented. And that whole chapter, defined me as like the guy for Fortnite content because, you know, I don't blame people for leaving. Like, you know, there was other games to play. It's not like Fortnite was the only game, but I was able to stick through it and still grow in a time of like drought for the game. So that kind of solidified me moving forward to the other chapters.
Yeah, I was telling you off camera, right? How there was a period of time before I started making this type of content that I was like, maybe I'll do Fortnite because I see what you're doing. Again, I'm super impressive. It feels clean. You know, it's good. It's something that you can do. But like when I tried to do it, I realized there's just no way because I took so many years off. Like first off, like you said, you're saying you also have to love something that you're doing. And quickly I realized Fortnite wasn't what I absolutely loved. I used to make videos on it, but like that gap, those years you stuck out are very important. Like that's why you can sit and you can talk about anything. We just did a TikTok. You're going through all the seasons. I'm like, how do you know all the seasons? Because you never stop. Like the time you put in, right? It's unbelievable. And just another example of consistency. You keep referencing your team, and obviously we're sitting here in your office. Like I just mentioned, it's a huge studio, Oni Studios, right? Let's just pretend people don't know. You know, I know a little bit about it, but can you explain what it is? Like, what is this team you're talking about?
Yeah.
Like I said, I can tell there's no way one human could do what you're doing. Exactly. And even like, you know, planning ideas and stuff like that. Can you give us a breakdown of, first off, what Oni Studios is?
Yeah.
And how they help in your content?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, when I started blowing up in Fortnite, my wife quit her job. She realized there was a big opportunity for me, and she realized that I was too busy just streaming every day. So she was the first editor. So she started editing the videos. Before she quit her job, she would come home at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and I would tell her, okay, 1 hour into the stream, I did a educational video about how to win. 2 hours into the stream, I dropped a 20 bomb, and then like I would just write down like the timestamp. She would go download the VOD, put it in like Adobe Premiere, very basic intro, outro, cut, and she would post it. So she was the first editor for the channel, but she realized that editing is not her passion.
Yeah.
And we were on the lookout for an editor. So like our first person that we got was my editor, Jack. So he was our first editor.
He was a lucky first editor to find. Jack is a beast.
He is incredible at what he does.
Yeah.
The best, honestly. Like I'm gonna be honest. The best at what he does.
He's amazing.
So at the time, he was just a fan of the stream. He submitted a montage of all my best sniper kills on Fortnite, and I'm like, okay, he knows how to edit. It's good. Let's bring him on to like make montages weekly, highlights or whatever, and eventually transition to be like just like every video he edits. But at that point, it was still me coming up with the ideas, him editing, and that's all he did. But so that was like the beginning of like the small teams. Like my wife is trying to bring more people in to help me and help me capitalize off of what was going on with Fortnite. So then eventually she brings in an agent. We bring in, social media. We bring in someone for marketing, someone to manage the Discord, and like the pieces start falling in as I'm blowing up, and we get to a team of about like maybe 10, 12 people. But the more we added, the easier and better our output became because she was doing a fantastic job managing these people and putting them in the right place. It was very hands-on for her. So it was a very stressful time for her and for myself because I'm streaming all the time, barely have time to spend time with her, and she's managing all these people. So that was like the grind time. That was the time to really drop the balance, right?
Yeah.
And go all in.
Yeah.
Eventually the team reached like, 40, 50, 60 people. And we had our animation team, which was very expensive to animate. We eventually stopped doing animation, but at our biggest, we were maybe like 60 or 70 people.
Wow.
I think right now we're in the 30s, and like half of them is just editors and YouTube production.
Wow.
So
for your channel.
Yeah, for my different channels. So like we have a short form. We have Jack is now the creative director, so he's in charge of all YouTube and video content. But we have producers for my second channel, which is just more casual content. We have a producer for my reaction channel, and then we have a producer for short form content. And then Jack still like kind of produces and leads the charge on my main channel, the SypherPK channel. So he's in charge. There's producers underneath him, and then there's editors underneath the producers. So that's kind of like the pyramid of the structure that we have going on. And then I just show up. I do give input on the video ideas, but we've gotten to a point now where my team knows what I like to record. And there's not a lot of times where I'm like, oh, this video idea sucks, or I'm just not feeling it. But there are some times, and it's good to have like some pushback because I don't want to be doing something I don't want to do.
So they come up with the concepts for a lot.
They come up with concepts. They come up with ideas. They will think about like who to bring on for collaborations, and I'm able to just kind of lock in and focus on being entertaining. And I think that makes it fun because it allows me to be like the best version of myself and not have to worry about some of the smaller details.
Yeah, but that of course took a lot of training, right? Like, directly, indirectly, like you telling them this isn't good. Like it took a long time to get there. Again, we're talking about like the final product, but
exactly, it took a long time. There was a moment where it was like Jack became better than me at coming up with the video ideas.
Must have been the best feeling ever.
Yeah, it was a great transition because before it was like I had to come up with every idea. So there was that pressure of like coming up with a video idea and then executing it, and he was editing. And he would come up with ideas, and sometimes they were good, sometimes they weren't. And even sometimes I would come up with bad ideas. But he got to a point where he was really dedicated to the craft.
Yeah.
His ideas were just always better. And he sees the vision, and I execute the vision. So we make a really good team. And of course, it's like it took years to get him to that point, and then it took him years to get all the producers to a point where we feel comfortable. And there's trial and error. Some people fit, some people don't. But like we're at a point right now where everything is very smooth, but it was very rocky on the way here.
Yeah. Again, another really, really cool thing, lesson, I think, for people that like are hungry. Like Jack was a fan in the streams, and he proved, like, he came with, here, look at this video. He said, I think there's a lot of people, way more people than people may imagine, that found these big roles, scaled their way up by literally just reaching out. I mean, I'll speak for myself. Like, I think I see a lot more messages, than people think when people are tweeting at me, tagging me and stuff. And every creator is the same. And even through emails and stuff like that, there's a lot of people that are hired at FaZe Clan, like that work on like, with the big streamers and stuff that got picked up the same way from being active in Twitter communities or Twitch chat. Like, you really do notice these people. So
and showing what they can do, not just saying it. Like,
it's not just like give me a lot of people like give me the opportunity. I promise I could do it. Like, there's thousands of people that may be saying the same thing, but showing a product, like showing your skill, you know, it's really cool, man. That's a really cool story from that Jack. Now I saw he also announced recently on Twitter that he's like an owner of Oni Studios.
We felt like it was important for him to feel just as invested. He was always very invested, but we gave him equity into the business, and that's just something like we feel like that's the right thing to do when someone's that committed to your vision and to your brand. Like, they got to be involved.
It's amazing. It's a really cool story. So we spoke a little off camera again, as well as like I was asking you about your schedule again. I'm just so curious. It's interesting to me because you do so much, and you even mentioned in this, I think you have like 4 days a week you stream. Some days you have maybe one day off, maybe you're filming other days.